I now request Koteshwar Rao to present a bouquet to Dr. B. Shadrak, Director SEMCA. I now request Dr. Usha to greet the guest of honor of today's function, Professor V.S. Prasad Garu, former Vice Chancellor of BRAOU and former Director of SNAC, with a flower bouquet.
Thank you.
I now request Joyce to greet today's chief guest, Professor Nilmarjit Singh Khalsi, IAS retired and presently chairperson of National Council for Vocational Education and Training, New Delhi, in the Brooklyn. I now request Dr. Madhuri Dubey to greet Director Academic Professor Pushpa Chakrapani with a flower bouquet.
Thank you.
I now request all the dignitaries on the to I now request all the dignitaries of the dais to join for lighting the ceremonial lamp, followed by floral tributes to the portrait of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
शादियों वाला फोटोग्राफर बुला लिया है तो डांस में जाओ
I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sitaram Rao sir, to formally start the inaugural session.
सबको नमस्कार. Good morning to you all. On behalf of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, on my personal behalf also, I extend a warm welcome to each and everybody who is participating in this very interesting and very thoughts-generating OER Fest for 2 days, and also followed by the Open Universities Roundtable Meet. Respected dignitaries on the dais, today's chief guest, Professor Dr. Nirmal Singh Khalsi ji, Chairman, National Council of Vocational Education and Training, highly respected Professor V.S. Prasad, former Vice Chancellor of this university and former Director of NAC, and is my respected teacher, and respected Dr. Shedrakji, Director, SEMCA, Commonwealth of Learning, Delhi, and our beloved Director Academic, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani, and participants from all open universities, from more than 13 open universities are here, and also our faculty members who are participating, and team of the SEMCA members. And once again, I extend a warm welcome to you all. At the outset, I thank Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia in Delhi, which was established under the aegis of the Commonwealth of Learning, Vancouver. Idea of this organizing OER Fest in collaboration with SEMCA here is a sequel to decisions taken in the Ahmedabad Declaration in 2023, August. As a sequel to it, we have taken this decision to organize OER Fest here. And our university is having very good rapport and also taking up many more collaborative activities with SEMCA, and it is supporting us in various respects, preparing the OER policy and also training our faculty members in preparing the MOOCs and micro credentials and all that. Like that, continuously, in the same manner, it has came forward to support this program, and not only supporting, it has collaborated with us for the noble cause of building OER resources and disseminating the knowledge to the general public and also students. You know very well our Ambedkar Open University is the first open university in India established in 1982. And Professor Ram Reddy was our founder, vice chancellor, and the same person who went to New Delhi and established Indira Gandhi National University in 1985. We have all together in our present. We have 17 open universities, one national open university, and one private open university in our country, offering various UG, PG certificates, diplomas, and research programs also. The challenge now before us to meet the targets, objectives of sustainable development goals, and also in EP 2020, we need to build open educational ecosystem out of the existing open universities that have been playing very crucial role and contributing to the at national level more than 11% of the GER in higher education. And especially our university in our two states, our contribution is more than 17% for the higher education in these two states, Telugu speaking states, Andhra Pradesh, as well as Telangana. The main objectives of our this OER Fest 2 days and followed by the roundtable meet of vice chancellors is to explore exciting possibilities that OER would offer and to develop novel approaches in creating and utilizing high quality material through open educational resources. To ensure sustainability of this vital movement by fostering an everlasting collaboration among the open universities and distant learning institutes working in regular universities also. To build a powerful OER ecosystem with all key players and key contributors, they can help a lot to counter the monopoly of edtech companies which are coming up entire world, not only the world, in our India also. So now this OER Fest platform will be facilitating the connection and collaboration among the individuals as well as institutions to build and disseminate the knowledge through OER systems. And this will provide connection and collaboration among the teachers, authors, policymakers, learners, and also institutions and advocates for who are supporting the openness in education system and educational resources. The open education resources, no doubt, it's a force for equity and opportunity in higher education system. Education is a right. Now it is a right as per our Indian Constitution. And it is the public good also. It is no more a private good or merit good. It is not a privilege of a few elite sections of the society. So, open access to knowledge and skills ensure democratization by empowering individuals and also communities. Open education resources have the potential to break down financial barriers and create a level playing field for learners of all backgrounds in the society. It unlocks human potential and contributes to most equitable society to come. Open University's OER Fest, an event filled with learning and inspiration. There are renowned speakers, engaging workshops, interactive sessions. Diversified OER-related topics are going to be discussed for these 2 days, and also the Open University Vice Chancellor. Finally, they will discuss about the way forward based on discussions taking place these 2 days. So, finally, I thank all the organizers, participants, my deep gratitude to organizers, sponsors, speakers, and participants. Let us embark on this journey together as the transformative power of collaboration is immense. Let us advance the cause of open educational resources movement in our country through open university. Thank you very much. Thank you once again. Yes. Now I request Dr. General to tell me the.
Thank you, Professor Sitaramaduru. Dr. Nilmal Khatri, the chairperson of the National Commission for Vocational Education and Training. Professor V.S. Prasad, former director of NAC, former vice chancellor this very university, Professor Sita Ramagaru, Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani, all our directors from the 14 open universities that are present here today. There are 4 not being represented, but 14 are here. And all of you are at the director level, where you are responsible for ensuring the quality assurance and also extension of open and distance learning. Dr. Sita Ramagaru has already provided the background information as to what we are looking forward to in the next 3 years, 3 days, culminating into the roundtable of the vice chancellors. But I want to put the context. I want to place this particular meeting in the context. Now, until recently, we were witnessing each of the open universities operating in their own silo mode. They were all very powerful. They were able to provide education and training and opportunities to people in their own vicinity. But we felt and realized that there was hardly any collaboration. That's when Professor Ami Upadhyaya and I met together, we decided that we'll bring all the OUs together to discuss. The time has come for us to collaborate. Let's understand the ODL provision in this country in the context of the larger political interest, economic interest, and social interest of the nation. So we brought all the vice chancellors together under the aegis of the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad, and Dr. Nilesh Noni was our coordinator of that event, and where we spelled out very categorically what we call the Ahmedabad Declaration. Ahmedabad Declaration spelled out very clearly certain things. Ahmedabad Declaration started with India's commitment to SDGs, particularly SDG 4 and SDG 8, SDG 5, in terms of equality, in terms of providing education to all, in terms of decent work and skilling the nation. So we looked at the SDGs. We also looked at and recommitted ourselves to NEP 2020, which is a visionary policy statement. Along with NEP 2020, we also mentioned that we'll be aligned to the national skilling mission, the skilling agenda of the nation. Then we went down to looking at the GER issue. Now there is an ambition within the nation to enhance the GER to 50% by 2035. But while we recognize the 50% commitment to GER, we said, let all the conventional universities be very engrossed in this 50% GER commitment, but as open universities, we have an opportunity as the open university to look at the lifelong learning paradigm, which means we are going beyond the 50% GER. 50% GER in 2035 would mean about 100 million people in our country enrolled into the tertiary system. But our commitment to the lifelong learning and skilling mission means we are not complacent with the 50% GER figure. We are going beyond the 50% GER to looking at lifelong learning, skilling, reskilling, and upskilling, which means we are staring at 800 million people, which is far, far, far beyond the 50%. That's a commitment of the open universities. But how would we do this? We spelled out that we will do this by aligning ourselves to newer strategies, which means we'll introspect ourselves, we'll conduct our business differently, we'll embrace newer systems of delivery, we'll bring in structural changes to our open universities, and ensure that we are committed to the 900 million people rather than the 100 million uptake in the GER figure. This also meant that we can no longer work in silos. We will have to come together to collaborate. We cannot be using our scarce resources in duplicating efforts. We need to converge, bring our elements together in terms of sharing resources, both material resources, knowledge resources, and human resources. Material and knowledge resources are our mainstay because ages ago we have started this blended learning practice. Much before anybody could think about in 1962, and I'm glad that the School of Open Learning, Delhi University is here, where we started the first ever correspondence program in our country, which is hitting 62 years. The first open university was this particular open university, 1984. So for about 62 years or 84 onwards, if we were to look at the open university's experience, we are talking about decades of experience as compared to the conventional system, which caters to a finite number of students in a face-to-face mode. So we have enormous capacity among ourselves, but we are not harnessing it enough. We are not bringing it to the fore. We are not actually aligning ourselves to the national agenda in terms of elevating our pitch and structuring ourselves differently and embracing technology today in terms of providing immersive experiential learning opportunity for people so that they can experience as they learn. We are providing certificates, but we need to provide experiences so that people could become skilled manpower for not only skilling India, but powering India. That has been our goal. And in that context, we looked at resource sharing, both human resource sharing and material resource sharing. We looked at credit transfer framework within the OUs. We looked at joint programs within the OUs. We looked at a variety of things. And today, we're actually killing two birds with one stone. On one hand, we are looking at how we can collaborate in terms of sharing our resources, not only among the 18 OUs, but many more open education systems that are likely to come. So we are going to discuss this at a policy level, a practice level, at a collaboration level. That's the mainstay of this meeting, culminating into the Open University's Vice Chancellor's Roundtable, which would look at not only the outcomes of these 2 days deliberations and the outcomes that would emerge from this meeting, but also in the larger context. So that's the first objective of the OER Fest. But I think it's extremely important for us when we are talking about 900 million people and skilling India to look at the skill component. How do we bring into our practice and change there could be a paradigm shift within the OUs in terms of providing the traditional academic BA, BSc, MA, MSc programs into now also embracing skilling programs, which need not be necessarily always be in 4-year degree programs. It could also be certifications and diplomas and micro-credentials, bite-sized learning, just-in-time training for people to enter the marketplace. So there are newer ways of providing skills opportunity for people, and how can we yield to it? And that's where we felt Dr. Nirmaljit Singh Kalsi, who is the most important person in our country in terms of turning our country into what they call the $10 trillion economy. In that way to happen, it cannot happen on its own. It cannot happen with a few corporates contributing. It would happen in a systemic manner, in an inclusive manner, with people contributing, including the informal sector workers, contributing to the economy, thus becoming a skilled nation. And that's his job. Dr. Kalsi, ever since he joined, has brought about a lot of innovations in the provision of skilling, embraced all cultures, and was bold enough to bring out newer, bold reforms. And one of the reforms that he's looking into is also he's been requested to do is also to look at the ODL regulations in the context of where we are today to where we want to be for Viksit 2047. So that responsibility is also on him. And today we are really privileged that as he would be addressing us in the inaugural session on the skilling component, he has also been kind enough to spare some time talking to each of you in an interactive mode. Perhaps we'll remove all these cameras and become more interactive because it looks very formal for us. And go into the 90-minute interactive session with him. placing very open discussion. Let's have a very clear open discussion in the next session after the tea break into how the most experienced people in the ODL domain in the entire world. We look at the open university ecosystem. There are only 33 open universities in the world, of which 18 are present in our country. I'm not including Nagaland, but 18 open government-funded public universities are in our country, which means 50% of the open universities are present here. Collectively, we have such a huge wisdom. So let's contribute to the thinking process at the policy level while they are bringing out the new regulation. So this particular meeting is very significant for us because not only will we be discussing your outcomes of the 18th and 19th of April deliberations on the 20th, we'll also take it to the next Vice Chancellor's Conclave, the Open University Vice Chancellor's Conclave, which I understand would be convened in Nasik by the Yashwant Chavan Maharashtra Open University in August, a tradition that we also committed in Ahmedabad, in our Ahmedabad declaration, to say that we'll meet at least once a year. But fortunately, we said not just once a year, we'll meet twice a year. And this is the second meeting in Hyderabad. I wish to thank Professor Sitharama Garu and Professor Pushpa Chakrapani for hosting us, for enabling us to discuss the aspect of open education resources and their place in terms of not only providing learning programs, but skilling programs. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Dr. Shakarji. Before first council addressed by our guest of honor, I request Professor Lakshmi to briefly introduce the audience. Just 1 minute.
I'm glad to introduce the guest of honor, Professor V.S. Prasad Garu, former Vice Chancellor of Kolkata. Well, Professor Prasad Garu is closely associated with open and distance education since 1982. And he has also been the acting Vice Chancellor of IGNOU and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Distance Education Council and Director Staff Training and Distance Education. Right, and is closely associated with the activities of Commonwealth of Learning as a resource person. The Commonwealth of Learning conferred the award of Honorary Fellow of the Commonwealth of Learning on 2004. And his contribution to the progress of open and distance education is immense. And this is just a glimpse of Professor Prasad's rich academic profile. Sir, we are honored to have you with us today for this inaugural session. I now request you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Lakshmi. Now I request our guest of honor, Professor V.S. Prasad, to give the address.
Professor Sitaram Rao, Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Nirmaljit Singh Kansey, Chairperson, National Council for Vocational Education and Training, Dr. Shadrach, Director, SEMCA, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani, Director Academic, distinguished colleagues from open universities, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskaram to all of you. I am participating in this program for two reasons. One is personal. I am associated with this university, or I worked in this university for 20 years in various capacities. During last 20 years, I am observing the march of open universities in India. I am thankful to Vice Chancellor, still remembering me. I am happy that still I am around, still remembering me and inviting me. Thank you very much, Sitaram Rao. This is a personal reason. I am happy to meet many of my former colleagues here. There is a public reason. The public reason is I am also associated with this idea of open educational resources since 2002. In 2002, in Paris, UNESCO organized a forum on open courseware and its impact on higher education. As a vice chancellor of this university at that time, I had the privilege of attending that forum. I think from IGNO, Professor Garg, the then vice chancellor, attended. We are the only two persons attended that forum. That forum was organized in collaboration with MIT by UNESCO in Paris. And that was a forum on open courseware. And in that forum, the idea of open educational resources or for the free educational resources, access to free educational resources, that was the idea was coined, or the term was coined. OER was coined in that 2002. From 2002, I have been observing the developments in the OER, open educational resources. To me, it is a great idea. It is a great idea because it is a good idea. It is a great idea of treating knowledge as commons. If you see Open University, Mr. Ramreddy used to say that Open University has thrown open the ivory tower of higher education. OER has thrown open the ivory tower of knowledge. So the OER and Open Universities, they are the co-constituents of a democratization of higher education. They are all together. And the Open University and COL are the right organizations to take this lead of organizing this activity, because this Open University in a way is associated from the beginning of OER concept. Not only the first Open University, from the beginning of OER concept. The Commonwealth of Learning also, and with the UNESCO and these two agencies, they have done a lot of work as an idea on OER. If you see the ODL Observatory of COL, a lot of information on the ODL Observatory of COL, and a lot of publications of COL and OER. As an idea, I think the COL and the SEMCA has made a significant contribution, and the UNESCO has made a significant contribution. UNESCO organized in 2012. Another Paris Declaration was there on OER, and 2019, they have another declaration on open educational resources, see the OER. Why I am saying all these things is, it is not only a revolutionary idea, it is an ideology of today's education. If you see that OER, you may consider it as the ideology of today's education. And this is when we say it's a revolutionary idea, knowledge commons, treating knowledge as common is really a great idea and a revolutionary idea. So the public reason is, I want to compliment this Open University and the SEMCA for this initiative. I want to make 2-3 observations. Dr. Shadrick said that it should be an open discussion and any idea is open. Any idea is welcome. I'm very happy. I only want to share 2-3 ideas which we had discussed in 2002 also. The one idea which we have to look at this, the whole open educational resources idea, is it a business model or is it a service model? I think this is the question which we have to address. Is the open educational resources a business model or open educational resources is a service model? When I say is it a business model or a service model, we find many free things also as a business models. Many free things. WhatsApp is a free thing, but it is a business model. Many platforms are open educational platforms, but they are business models. But we are looking at OER as a knowledge commons, as a service model. When you look at it as a service model, if you see the higher education ecosystem, last 20 years, the higher education ecosystem, increasing role of private higher education institutions. Increasing privatization of higher education is also a phenomenon. And increasing emphasis on use of OER also is a phenomenon. We are emphasizing increasing use of OER. We are emphasizing the idea and ideology of OER. We are also observing the phenomena of increasing privatization, increasing not only privatization, increasing commercialization of education. My question is, the OER as a public resource, there is a danger of it is being used for private purposes. As a public resource, OER has to be used for public purpose. In the open universities also, sometimes when I was working in IGNO also, many people come and say that, sir, the IGNO materials are very good and open universities materials are very good. We want to use them. We welcome. You see, we welcome to use them. But why do you want to use them? You want to use them and make money. So the public resources you want to use and to make money. Then OER, whole concept of OER, it is a public resource for public purpose. That whole concept of OER is, there is a danger of distorting the whole concept of OER, and we have to take care of that also. So OER as a public resource must be useful for public. Education, you see, if you see NEP also, 2020 clearly said education is a public good. And NEP also clearly said education should not be used for commercial purposes. NEP also clearly said philanthropy in education is okay, but not profit making in education. So my question is, I am raising this question, the danger of OER being used for private purposes, for profit purposes by institutions. One should take care of it. And here the Khalsa is in the policy making body and Shadrach also are in the policy making body. My request to them is to consider of developing some policy guidelines at the national level. It is good that SEMCA is trying to develop OER policies in the open universities. All 17 open universities are developing. But at national level also, there is a need for some OER policy. Interestingly, if you see NEP, there is no mention of open universities. NEP, there is no mention of OER. These two things are not mentioned in the 65-page document of NEP. Maybe you may say that it is a broad policy document and sectoral aspects, they are not touched. But my request to the policymakers today is, you please develop at the national level a policy framework or at least the guidelines on the use of OER for public purpose only. OER should not be used for profit-making activity. That is the basic philosophy. It contradicts the basic philosophy. This is one suggestion. My second observation, it is about the open universities and how the open universities can promote it, can use it, and can actively participate in that process. I think Professor Shadrach is the right person to take it forward in the planning and all those things also. But here, I want to make one or two observations. One observation is, see, this is the same we discussed in 2002 conference also. See, if you see the institutional ecosystem, all 17 open universities are in the public domain. It is good that they are in the public domain. They're in the public domain. It is interesting also, I'm only throwing an open idea. In the 1,000 universities or 1,100 universities, 400 private universities are there. In the 18 open universities or 19 open universities, all 18 are in the public domain. It's good. Why it is happening, I don't know. Why the private universities are not there in the open university system or ODL system, I don't know what are the reasons, but whatever it may be. In the open universities using OER, we face 2-3 types of issues. One is, as you know, if you see what is the strength of a distinctness of any open university. Open university system is a resource-based learning system. The strength of any open university system are its resources. Learning resources is its strength. What is the distinct feature of IGNO? Why IGNO is considered as one of the best institutions, or why Ambedkar Open Institute or any university, open university is considered as one of the best institutions is it's characterized by the goodness of its learning resources. The learning resources. It may be in the print media, it may be in the audiovisual media, in any media, the learning resources. If these learning resources are made open and to everybody can share it, the uniqueness of that particular institution, the uniqueness of the open university, they may be lost. The distinctness of that university may be lost. The special advantage of that university may be lost. That's why open universities, I was asking my friends, I don't know what is happening in the 17 open universities. How many open universities are freely sharing their materials with other open universities? Some of the friends say that no open university is freely sharing its material with any other open university. I am subject to correction. I'm subject to correction. If this is happening, why it is happening? I'm not blaming any open university. We also, when I discuss with the colleagues also, sir, if you share with you what is our uniqueness, what is our distinctness, how we can say that attract the students. See, these are all some of the issues are concerned. So uniqueness and distinctness. Here, my suggestion is here, in future, when we are moving in future, Sir John Daniel said that the open universities sit or stand on three-legged stool. What are those three legs? One is learning resources, second is the student support service systems, and third is logistics or administrative support systems. Okay? Of the three legs, one learning resources, suppose, you see, it becomes a common thing. Suppose, you see, today, if you are moving, suppose assuming that the learning resources becomes a common to all 17 open universities. You have a BA program in social sciences or MA program in English by many universities. If it becomes a common thing, then your focus must be on other two legs of student services and that of the logistics system. Somebody made an interesting comparison with, suppose for example, you take for example the airlines operations. There is an airport with common services. There are 10 or 12 airlines are operating the services from here to Delhi. The airport is a common. All the 10 or 11 airlines are using services from here to Delhi. Why the customers are preferring X airline or Y airline or Z airline? Maybe because the price differences, maybe because the services they provide, maybe because the logistics support they provide. In the same way, in the open universities also in future, of the three legs, if one leg becomes a common resource, that means learning resources becomes a common resource. Your strength will be on what type of student support services you are providing, what type of logistics support you are providing, what type of administrative support you are providing. Suppose same MA English program is offered by the IGNOU and BRAOU. Why one should join BRAOU program? The material is the same. Suppose IGNOU material is the same, BRAOU material is the same for English MA. Or all the 17 universities, MA English program is the same. Suppose material resources are same. What is the distinction of your university? Your university distinction is learner support services, how you make a difference. How you make a difference in the logistics. How you make differences in the interactions. As you know, in the distance education, there is a self-learning, there is an interactive learning. And in that interactive learning, the university make that distinction. Why ex-student prefer Indira Gandhi Open University? Why student prefer Ambedkar Open University? Because it may be nearer to him, it may be more services to him, it may be more confidence in that university. So my suggestion is here, when we are looking in the future directions, maybe probably you may be sharing these things, but focus of individual university must shift from common resources to that of the learner support services and logistics. Here, I think is the idea of SEMCA developing what is called as a joint development of programs. More than the sharing of materials, this joint development of programs, because that gives a giant ownership also. That gives identification to all of you also. Giant development becomes more important and more significant than sharing the materials of others. We know that when Ambedkar Open University was started, here Maulana Azad University, they started distance education program. They borrowed the programs from this university in the initial years. Later on, they felt that they are being accused that you are borrowing from Ambedkar Open University and what is your distinction? So they started developing their own materials. Individual faculty members also may feel that if you are borrowing the materials and offering them, what is our role? What is our identity? In the OER, there is another important development. One has to take note of it. See, there are two dimensions of OER, development of OER and use of OER. Some are very comfortable in development of OER. Some are very comfortable in use of OER. If you are more comfortable in use of OER, you will have a secondary status. If you are more comfortable in the development of OER, you will have a higher status. And there is also a problem of political correctness of the material. There is also a problem of intellectual hegemony of the materials also. So these are all some of the issues are concerned. So my own feeling is the better to concentrate on joint development of programs and create those programs also. Then maintain your identity also. So in these things, I think these are some of the issues. I might have taken more time also. I'll stop here. My request to you is reflect freely. See, what is happening is sometimes OER, I find that there is what is called as a rational approach to OER and a bandwagon approach to OER. What is the rational approach to OER? Rational approach to OER is all of us believe in the what is called as a knowledge commons. That is a rational approach. What is the bandwagon approach? UOL says something, UNESCO says something, or Government of India says something. It is a top-down approach. Then when they are saying something, we also say yes, yes. But informally, when I discuss with the people sharing, no, sir, it is difficult to share. And colleagues also say that it is more difficult to adapt a OER than develop your own materials. Adapting OER is not that easy. Adapting OER to your requirements. In the OER use, the three areas of OER use, one is informal or non-formal learning. And the second is, you see, lifelong learning. This is what Shadrach also is referring, lifelong learning. It is more easy in these two areas. But the third area is formal learning, OER in formal learning, OER in formal credential degrees. In that program, colleagues, if you ask, it is more easy to develop programs, then adapt a program which is already available to your curriculum, to your requirements, to your qualifications. So it's not easy. OER means, you see, as Shadrach rightly said, the staff has to prepare for that, and there's the need for some training in those areas, and you are doing it. I think these 2 days, you will have an idea, freely discuss. Lastly, one observation, I see the sharing of experience. In 1995 itself, Distance Education Council of Indira Gandhi Open University floated the idea of joint development of programs. In 1995, there are only 4 or 5 open universities only, or 5, 6 open universities. But as you know, from that onwards, not much progress in that. Not much progress in that. I don't know whether any open universities have developed any giant programs. Why we are not able to develop the giant programs? For that, there is a need for institutional arrangements and institutional changes also. Institutional changes also. And we are looking at that. Unless you change those institutional structures, we have an interesting situation. The academic world, in the academic world, we give many radical ideas for the transformation of a society. But the academic world is very, very conservative when it comes to changes in its own internal structures. There's a lot of internal structures, changes are required, resistance for that internal systems. Unless you make a changes in the internal systems, the joint development of programs, or joint ownership of programs, or sharing of materials by these things, for that, there's a need for whole change of our attitudes, our way of looking at things, our way of our roles, institutional roles, open universities also. There is also a lot of debate is going on. I'm not raising that question. Whether the dedicated open universities are any more relevant or not also is being debated in the academic world. You see, that is also, we have to think that unless we change ourselves, we may not be able to survive. So these are the opportunities for you to reflect and change and survive. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
So, thank you very much, sir, for your thought-provoking and raising issues related to OER and intelligence. Now, I request Professor Pushpa to introduce briefly about this.
I'll do it.
So, thank you very much, sir.
Because I thought that's what the very established. Start the ground subject. Discussed by Dr. Prasad and Dr. Shadrach. That has already made my job much easier. And I would rather like to answer some of those questions and take some of those forward when I talk about it. So how many of you have actually gone through the NEP and the National Credit Framework? Such bonus. Okay, how many have actually understood NCR? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll spend some time on simplifying NCR for you, because that is the foundation on which we are going to expand the Open University program and integrate the Open University program with. So far, this was a foregone conclusion that public skill education cannot be provided in the open mode. At least that was the thought process which people normally had. That was a notion people had. But the world has really changed. And there is a lot of possibility which has now come up. Now, all of you are aware of the landscape of the total education system. 1,100 universities, 45,000 affiliated colleges, 9,000 colleges approved by AICT, 26.5 million school students, 43.5 million higher education students. Dr. Shadrach is saying 100 million to start with, and for upskilling, that goes up to 900 million. And that's a wonderful thought. I fully agree, because you can just count on this. 43 million plus 110 million plus 470 million plus 120 million. So that makes it about 900 million. So your calculation is absolutely right. Right, bang, dot. Now, this is a very large ecosystem we are getting to. We have 15 lakh higher education teachers. And the student-teacher ratio, 1:27, both in higher education as well as in school education. That's roughly the ratio. Now, when we talk about the framework, the national education policy is an intention, is a vision, is a document of intention. But those intentions have been converted into actionable points through what is called the National Credit Framework. The most important thing is that NCRF provides for integration of learning from all dimensions. It could be academic, it could be skills, or it could be experiential learning. It removes separation between various streams of education. If you are doing electrical engineering, you can take a major in electrical while minor in psychology and history. So that's possible. Similarly, multiple exit system. Somebody has taken admission into a 3-year degree. You can leave in between. You can go for a job. You can work for 2 years. You can come back. You can get yourself assessed for the future, for the next 2 years. Whatever you have already learned in the ecosystem, those subjects can be taken out, and you do the rest and you get your degree. If you have 3 years degree, you suddenly decide that you want to go for 4th year, then and there you can go for 4th year. And you can either go for job or you can go for PhD. So it's all very flexible. That is the very nature of the students we're dealing with. All of us, we are aware what we go through when we deal with our own children. हमको तो कह दिया जाता था कि भाई ये करना है, and we used to put in everything to make the wishes of our parents come true. वही जिंदगी का ध्येय होता था.
अभी बच्चा कहता है पापा को, पापा आपको क्या पता है? इंटरनेट को सब कुछ दिया हुआ है, and I can find out. So, multiple entry, multiple exit is a very effective way of dealing with the situation. Similarly, integration of employability skills, soft skills, life skills, future of work skills, future technology skills, and most importantly, skills from the Indian knowledge system. That is also there in NCR. Then for you, it's extremely important to understand the blended learning approach, which has now been allowed. There has always been a debate between online learning and offline learning. But there is something called blended learning. And when I talk about blended learning, I'll show you a slide in detail wherein the entire learning is divided into 7 compartments. And how you deal with each one of those compartments is extremely important. And that will open up more ideas for you as to what all can be offered in the open mode. अभी बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिनको ओपन लर्निंग और डिस्टेंस लर्निंग के बीच का फर्क नहीं पता. Other universities, a common man, even a professor in other universities, they will not understand the difference between open and distance. और ओपन का जब तक मतलब समझ में नहीं आएगा, we will not be able to expand our footprint. Open is not only in terms of open resources, open is in terms of open admission policy. It's rather little more informal way of learning. How many of you are offering one single course? As a citizen, I want to take just one course. Very few universities offering. For example, Delhi University has just started.
Yes, yes.
You can take one course, you can take 2 courses. That's it. And you get a certificate from that university. अब उससे ज्यादा मेरे पास समय नहीं है, मैं नहीं कर रहा. बहुत कम यूनिवर्सिटियां हैं जो किसी को एडमिशन के लिए 1 सब्जेक्ट 2 सब्जेक्ट में अलाउ कर रही हैं. सो वी हैव टू बी वेरी ओपन विद आवर एडमिशन प्रोसेस. अच्छा, मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं ओपन कोर्स करूं, मुझे पार्टिसिपेशन का सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाए, अब मुझे पास का सर्टिफिकेट नहीं चाहिए. तो एग्जामिनेशन हैज टू बी वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल, द असेसमेंट हैज टू बी वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल. I have to really look at that also. Whereas distance learning is just a separation of the learner and the teacher, while rest everything is quite formal, quite structured, I would say. And that's good also. Great. Very good, because that way you're able to maintain the quality. And that way you can always claim that there is no difference between an open learning certificate or distance learning certificate and a regular certificate, a regular diploma. And that should be like that only. Similarly, assignment, accumulation, transfer, redemption of credits, a PAR ID, all of you understand, academic bank of credits. Now, how many of you have created your own PAR IDs? How many teachers have created PAR IDs? अरे भाई, किया तो हाथ खड़ा करो, नहीं किया तो अब देखो, अब बच्चे को क्या कराओगे अगर आपने खुद पार आईडी नहीं क्रिएट की? दैट मीन्स यू हैव स्टॉप्ड लर्निंग. सी एवरीवन, यू मस्ट हैव अ पार आईडी. अच्छा, आज मुझे आप एक प्रॉमिस करो कि आज आप अपार आईडी क्रिएट करोगे और अपार आईडी में अगले 2 महीने में आपके 4-4 क्रेडिट्स के कोर्सेज होंगे. 4 क्रेडिट्स अर्न आपके अपार आईडी में जाएंगे. Learners with varying learning abilities, accelerated learning, slow is more an open learning. I don't care whether I get a certificate or not. I'm just learning because I want to learn. And internationalization and international equivalence is again very important, especially for open and distance learning. Online is basically a subset of open and distance learning, I would say that. So there are three qualification frameworks which actually implement NCRF: National Higher Education Qualification Framework, National Skill Qualification Framework, and National Curriculum Framework. It's here. And if you look at the three-dimensional figure, on x-axis you have academic learning. That is what you achieve through most I hate to call it vocational education. No, this is not vocational education. Vocational education is a poor cousin of education. Whereas, if you call it vocational education, training and skilling, it is a much richer cousin of education. If you have skills, you'll get a job. If you simply have education, theoretical knowledge, you won't get a job. Companies are hiring not for degrees, but for competencies. So that's the basic difference. And on z-axis, you have experiential learning. And that is the proficiency axis as well. And the beauty is that you can add credits from all three axes and convert those credits into a certificate, into a diploma, into a degree. That is what you can do. So 1,200 hours of learning per year, 40 credits per year. That is 30 hours per credit. That is the muta-muti calculation. But you can fine-tune it to 15 hours of learning per 16 hours of lectures per credit, 30 hours of practicals per credit, and 45 hours of experiential learning per credit. That can be done. And very importantly, up to 50% of the credits can be earned from skill education. And this is notified by UGC. So you can have that. And the assessment is a mandatory part of it. Without assessment, you won't get the credit. And if you really look at the total thing, that's what you get. It integrates right from 5-year foundation course to 3 years preparatory, 3 years middle, 2 years secondary, and 2 years senior secondary, and then 4 years of UG, PG programs. That's how it integrates. And you can obtain 40 credits per year of sort of progression through the combination of the academics and the skilling. So that is what this table is trying to show. So if you go through NCRF, you'll find detailed provisions on credit assignment, accumulation, storage, redemption, transfers, etc. Very clearly defined. And maybe we can also, when we have interaction, little more we can work on it and clarify. So this is a very important slide which lays down the principles of creditization. For creditizing any learning, whether open or whether distance, or whether online or whether offline, you have to define the learning outcomes, map these learning outcomes with the national occupation standards. Ultimately, job is one of the objectives. So national occupation standards or the micro-credential or the nano-credential, if it is a small learning, bite-sized learning. Then assignment of the appropriate NCRF level, which would decide through variety of factors, including level descriptors. There's a table which is there, which has been prepared with international input. That is how we go for international equivalence. So you decide the NCRF level, you decide the number of credits, then you define the assessment criteria and methodology. You conduct the assessment after the person goes through their academics or skilling or both, and then you award the credits. So this is extremely comprehensive way of creditizing any learning, whether formal, informal, non-formal. अभी इनफॉर्मल और नॉन फॉर्मल लर्निंग में कितने लोगों को डिफरेंस पता है? कैन यू रेज योर हैंड्स? चलिए ये अगले 1.5 घंटे में क्लियर करेंगे. So education acceleration, hackathon and Olympiads, recognition of prior learning and recognition for any other activity, international achievers, IKS, all that can be done. अभी हमने गुरु सम्मान किया है. जो पुराने हाथ से काम करने वाले कारीगर थे, उनको सम्मान देके उनको स्किल का एक लेवल 6 पर उनको स्किल का सर्टिफिकेशन किया है उनका आफ्टर RPM, आफ्टर actually understanding that they are the people who can further train people, who can assess a person who is skilled. And all these guys are absolutely some of the top guys in the States. Till now, they had no certification at all. So this provision has been there. For higher education, you can see level 4.5 starts with it and goes up to the doctoral level 8. And it's very well defined. Now, this is totally ingrained in the higher education system, in UGC, in AICT, and everyone now talks about these levels. And these levels are also aligned with the international levels. Now, more than 35 countries, almost 40 countries are following level 8. So when we talk about international equivalence, it doesn't create an issue, no problem. What NCVT does, the National Skill Qualification Framework, it works from level 1 to level 8, whereas level 1 to level 4 more suitable for school education, level 4.5 to level 8 is more suitable for higher education. And that is how we integrate. Now, this could be totally independent of the academic education as well, because y-axis, somebody wants to work on the y-axis, or totally unpad hai wo, tab bhi koi problem nahi hai. If somebody can open BMW का इंजन खोल के बांध सकता है, so he is at level 5 as far as skills are concerned. He may be totally illiterate person. So you can progress just on one axis, not a problem. And there is no impediment, there is no requirement that you must go for academics only. If somebody is just academic and he doesn't have any skills, he's just one-dimensional personality. Similarly, for y-axis, and unless you have, if you are on y-axis, you can definitely go on this Z because you can always add experience to that. Similarly, if you are on X, you can add experience. But if you are on all three, then you will grow three-dimensionally. 3D. People who understand coordinate geometry will understand it very well. So these are the kind of number of qualifications which are already available. More than 7,000 qualifications available. 3,861 are right now active. Every 3 years, we archive the qualification. Qualification means a course. Skill course is called a qualification. So we archive this because we understand that within 3 years, the technology changes, things change. Unless you come back to us that you want this small little change, and you please renew this, we'll renew this. This is done by the industry. They come back to us with or without changes. Now, 3,861 qualifications which are available, they are available in the open. Let me emphasize, they are all available on the National Qualification Register, and they are open to you. And I give you a special dispensation today. All open universities, I would be willing to give you the status of the NCVT recognized dual body. You can award a certificate or a diploma on behalf of NCVT in skills, as well as you can assess a person. So So awarding and assessment, though these are two separate activities as far as skilling is concerned, we normally don't allow the same body to perform both, because our assessors are normally different people, different set of people for independence. And that's the requirement of the industry as well. But for open universities, we can train them and they can be the dual learning. We call it dual learning. And we can do it in a very simplified format. And you'll ask me, what is the advantage of that? The advantage of that would be that these 3,861 qualifications would be available to you. You can just open the National Qualification Register, pick up the course, put it as part of your curriculum, whether part of a BA curriculum or a MA curriculum, depending upon the levels, and you can offer this qualification. Each one of these qualifications have been developed by a separate body. We are talking of the open resources today. Now, these qualifications have been developed by another body, and that body could be NILET, that could be CDAC, that could be NASCOM, or that could be any other body, management. Similarly, there are more than 100 bodies which are developing these qualifications, which are awarding bodies, which have been given the status of awarding body. We've also decided that all the INIs, the institutes of national importance, including all the IITs, all the IIMs, they are the deemed awarding bodies of NCVT. So whatever skilling qualification they develop, even those qualifications are available on NQR. And those can be picked up. And some of them, they had come much earlier. Some of them are coming now. And these qualifications are there. So you'll have to really develop, number one, expertise to understand these qualifications, then to integrate qualifications, then to check the appetite of your students for these qualifications. And once somebody goes through such qualifications, they're sure to get a job in the market. Not only that, we also work on the soft skills. And soft skills are 50, I would say, subsets, which have been divided into these 9 categories. Communication skills, interpersonal, social skills, cognitive and metacognitive skills, citizenship, constitutional values, digital fluency, English and foreign language skills, workplace and job-related skills, foundational literacies, and then self-employment and entrepreneurship. And there are 50 submodules. These I am going to make available to everyone as an open resource, and this will be free of cost for all of you. Anybody can pick it up, integrate it with the curriculum, teach it. And these would be mostly designed by or created by the best companies in the country. So that process is already on. The curriculum has been finalized. That has been approved by NCVT. We have a National Skill Qualification Committee, which has members from ministries, members from UGC and AICT as well, from CBSE, similarly from the industry bodies, and very importantly, from the awarding bodies. That means from the university. IGNOU is one of our awarding bodies. NIOS is one of our awarding bodies. So they've already become awarding bodies. And you must have heard about these army people who are coming for 4 years. Agniveers. So these people, they are being now given these skills. They are giving certification for the skills which they acquire in the army in 4 years. We are even characterizing that. The entire Indian Army today, whatever training they are conducting, they are NSTF aligned and they are approved by NCVT. And every hour of Jawan working in the army is being creditized. So 50% credits, skill credits we are getting from there, and 50% from NIO from NIUS as well as from IGNOU. If it's 10th class, so 10th to 12th from NIUS, and from 12th to UG, you get from IGNOU. And they'll get the preparation. So that's how it has been done. So this is just an example. Some 3 years program is under 40 credits. That's how major you have 50%, minor you have 2 And again, in both of these, you can have up to 50%, you can have skill-based courses. And if you are taking 2 minors, minors can be based on skill course itself. So anyway, if you see, you can go even beyond 50%. So this is what UGC says now. So it's much easier to offer these programs. Similarly, you can see various modes of integration of skilling. Dr. Chandrak was asking how to integrate skill programs in open learning. And that is a very important question. That is the key question today. And for doing that, now you have all kinds of models which are available. We can, in the first instance, choose those skills which can be offered online or which can be offered in blended mode where 70% can be online. 30% could be in contact mode. And you can go to one of the other awarding bodies of NCVT where that skill is being performed. And that practical part, the student can go there, get it done, get it assessed, and based on that, can be certified. And we have centers all across the country, more than 25,000 centers are there. Similarly, though, Bhuvishir, so general university and skill university के लिए, what are the kind of possibilities, those you can see in these 2 slides. I intend to work same thing for open and distance learning. Whatever has been worked out here for general university and for skill university. So I'm willing to work for the open university with a very special treatment, with a very clear understanding that if we want to increase our footprint, this is the only way to go. But then all of us will have to be much smarter than that of the general universities. मैं आपको सही बात बताऊं, आप अभी तक आप लोग अपने आप को बेचारा समझते हैं, जो बिल्कुल गलत है। ऐसा नहीं है। You have a much powerful tool in your hand. और जब तक आप बेचारा समझोगे, आप बेचारे रहोगे। ये भी पता है।
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm Professor Nilesh Modi. I'm Director at the School of Computer Science. I'm looking after Center for Internal Quality Assurance at Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar University. Just you told that we are engaging of Java. But basically, sir, as per my observation, my communication with the government of India as well as CBDC, at many of the point, they are not allowing us to carry out some sort of things. Let's say we have applied for NSC license. In fact, as per my knowledge, 3 out of 18 open universities have applied for NSPF from Ministry of Schools. So whenever they have provided these things. But our
Ahmedabad,
yes.
चाहिए
Yes, sir.
गिवन।
Thank you.
कहाँ घूम रहे हो यार, कहाँ सही जगह जाना वहां तो जा नहीं रहे।
They have already applied.
It's not with Ministry of Skills, it's not with UGC.
Sir, NSQF. They have applied for NSQF.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework, if you want to offer these qualifications,
Yes.
you come to NCVT.
Yes.
और मैंने तो आपको आपके कहे बगैर दे दिया,
नहीं सर,
आपको बेचारा बाद में फिल किया आपने।
after rejection of our application, we are now A++ grade university and we count that.
भाई आप शादी जब खत्म होगी आपको दे दिया।
Sir, my question is that we got that after having ourselves as a category 1 university. But what about the other open universities?
Today I promise that I'll give it to everyone. There is a process. When you come to NCVT, I'll build your capacity. Plus, I'll give you the status. Plus, I'll tell you the courses which you can offer.
That's great, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right? And where UGC will have no objection, EICT will have no objection. See, there are certain courses which are barred through manner, open sort of methodology by the act itself or by their councils itself. There is a separate council. They may object to it. For example, the medical council.
Yes.
They'll object to it. Okay. Even during COVID, they did not allow online classes in many cases. इनफॉर्मल लर्निंग लोगों ने ऑनलाइन कर ली, लेकिन उसको फॉर्मली रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं किया उन्होंने। अभी उनको करना पड़ेगा। अभी धीरे धीरे दुनिया बदल रही है, उनको भी बुला के उनके ऊपर हम लोग अलग से काम कर रहे हैं। आर्किटेक्चरल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया बीआर का कोर्स कितने साल में कराती थी?
4 years.
5 साल में। BR is 5 years. Okay. So we had a discussion. I, along with the chairman UGC, we called them. They've agreed to give MArch after 5 years, BArch after 4 years, BSc Building Science after 3 years, and Building Diploma after 2 years. So that's coming in the next semester. दुनिया बदल रही है, आप समझ रहे हैं ना? तो बदलेगी। तो अभी जो अगले सेशन में मैंने आपसे यही तो पूछा ना कि आप क्या चेंजेस चाहते हो भाई, आप बताओ मुझे। आप खोल लो, रेगुलेशन खोल लो, मुझे बता दो यहाँ 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 चेंज चाहिए, क्यों चाहिए, को कराना मेरा काम। ठीक है, अब इससे ज्यादा तो मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता। The open distance learning, I was trying to, now this is for other people to understand what is the difference. Now all of you understand that. अभी कुछ नए किस्म के कोर्सेज हैं जो फ्यूचर स्किल कोर्सेज हैं. These are about 380 courses. And if you really look at the length and breadth of the courses, right from 3D printing, 5G, 6G technology, EV automation, IoT, IIoT, automation, RPA, cloud computing, electronic design, manufacturing, EIML, cyber security, ER, VR, mechatronics, CAD/CAM, VLSI design, nanotechnology, green energy, blockchain. So all these courses are already there. And these courses are available right on the same platform and QR. And you don't have to pay me to pick up any of these courses. अगर कोई कंपनी इसको उठा के कमर्शियली भी चलाती है, मुझे उसमें कोई इतराज नहीं है। रिसोर्स मैंने बना दिया। कोई मूर्ख बच्चा होगा जो एक फ्री कोर्स के अवेलेबिलिटी के बाद एक पेड कोर्स पे जाएगा, वो फैसला मैं बच्चे के विवेक पर छोड़ता हूं। As Professor Prasad rightly said, that you have to improve other two legs, your connectivity with the student, your services to the student. Those services are not available to him at other places. ओपन सोर्स तो पड़ा हुआ है बहुत। अभी मैंने एक और काम किया है, मैं सीधा उस पर ही आता हूं। हाँ, एक तो ये ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग जो मैं आपको बता रहा था, देयर आर 7 components of learning. One is theoretical learning, that is one. Second, soft skills, employability skills and mentorship. Third is demonstration, especially when you are giving a skill you have to demonstrate. अगर किसी को मैंने पावर प्लांट में ट्रेनिंग देनी है तो सीधा पावर प्लांट तो उसको ले जा नहीं सकता, तो उसको पहले पावर प्लांट का डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन मैं दिखाऊंगा, बड़े बड़े पावर प्लांट में क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, A to Z क्या प्रोसेस है, तो डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन। देन प्रैक्टिकल स्किल्स और हैंड्स ऑन स्किल का लैब वर्क, जो हाथ से काम करना है सारा। एंड देन योर ट्यूटोरियल असाइनमेंट्स, ड्रिल्स एंड प्रैक्टिसेस, देन योर असेसमेंट, इवैल्यूएशन, एग्जामिनेशन, and finally your apprenticeship, internship and on the job training. So these are the 7 components. So when I approve any qualification or any course, I specifically ask the awarding body which is creating the course that give me online versus offline ratio of each one of these 7 components separately. And there is a technology component which is attached to the delivery of the course. The online versus offline component is governed, the limits are governed by the use of technology. If you don't have LMS, I will not allow lectures and theory in the online mode at all. Why should I? I don't know whether the students actually go through it or not. If it is through LMS, I'll allow it, even to the extent of 100%. Why? Because there are certain jobs where the student is working from home for the rest of the life. If he need not go to the office at all, so he should be well versed with the online environment. For example, people who are developing software for US companies sitting here, who are providing services to US companies sitting here. So why not that course could be given totally in online mode? And why not the assessment of the students is also online mode? उसका एग्जाम भी ऑनलाइन हो, उसकी ट्रेनिंग भी ऑनलाइन हो, उसकी इंटर्नशिप ऑनलाइन हो, उसकी अप्रेंटिसशिप ऑनलाइन हो, उसको जॉब ऑनलाइन मिले। And there are courses available, and those courses are high in demand. And that is where you have your strength. So you can straightway start with those courses. You take HCVT's recognition, you start those courses. और दूसरा वो समय गया कि ये मेरा कोर्स, ये तेरा कोर्स, मैं अपना नहीं दिखाता, अभी नहीं है। 98 में फर्स्ट टाइम एक बैंक, वर्ल्ड बैंक का प्रोजेक्ट आया, तो आई गेव कंप्यूटर्स टू एवरी पार्ट ऑफ पंजाब. Now I was handling all the technical institution, all engineering colleges, all polytechnics, all ITs. I was handling the entire technical education and industrial training ecosystem. तो मैं आया तो मुझे पता लगा कि ये वो कंप्यूटर तो आ गए हैं, वो गए हुए हैं, अभी इंस्टॉल नहीं हुए. मैंने कहा इंस्टॉल क्यों नहीं हुए? कहते जी वो वहां बिजली का पॉइंट नहीं लगा हुआ. We have the electrical fitting person course in our ITI. ये बिल्कुल है. मैंने कहा वो क्या झक मार रहा है, वो क्या कर रहा है? So those computers were installed and we created 15 lakh slides on engineering colleges, all courses, 13 courses in engineering colleges, 35 branches in polytechnics, and 43 branches in ITIs. We created this 15 lakh slides, और कोई टीचर स्लाइड शेयर करने को तैयार नहीं. तो टीचर ऐसे बनाए, ऐसे यहां रखे, किसी दूसरे से शेयर नहीं करना है. Then I said, I created small committees for moderation of that content. The senior people were there, and whoever contributed to that was given the rest of the content, 15 lakh slides. 15 लाख स्लाइडें मैंने कहा सबके लिए अवेलेबल है, जिसने उठानी उठा, provided you contribute to it. And everyone was benefited. हर पर्सन ने उसमें एंजॉय किया। एंड आई क्रिएटेड सम ऑफ दी दोज गाइस जिन्होंने कभी कंप्यूटर देखा नहीं था, दे क्रिएटेड सच स्लाइड्स which till date Microsoft could not understand how these slides were created, what technology was used. And when I ultimately told them that these slides have been created in PowerPoint, they refused to agree. And I can show you these slides. My laptop has 40,000 presentations. I'm carrying it. I can show to you in the next section. And I can show you those slides which have been created. और वो जब मैंने शेयरिंग की एक बार तो सब लोगों के दिमाग खुल गए। अच्छा, कंटेंट कितने बढ़िया आपके हाथ में है, जब तक पढ़ाना नहीं आता कोई आपको फॉलो नहीं करता। कंटेंट तो बहुत पड़ा हुआ है लेकिन उसको समझाने वाले नहीं है, बच्चे को मोटिवेट करने वाले नहीं है। तो ओपन डिस्टेंस लर्निंग मोड में आई ऑफर यू, आई क्रिएट अ कमिटी of all the open universities once they join the NCVT ecosystem, and this standing committee would develop common course material and whatever help is required, whatever possible, जो मेरी तरफ से होगा मैं करूँगा उनके लिए। Also another thing, अभी हमने क्या किया कि ग्लोबली जो MNCs हैं, they run thousands and thousands of courses. For example, Microsoft runs 4,700 courses. IBM has skill courses which are absolutely top quality courses, अभी वो 100 में है। HCL के courses हैं, Infosys के courses हैं, every top company, Oracle के courses अपने हैं, Red Hat के courses हैं, AWS के courses हैं। So I have created a system of making these companies and their material part and parcel of the NCVT skilling ecosystem. I have recognized them as awarding bodies. And the entire content is available free of cost. Word is free of cost. And it is shareable. All of you can just, once you become the member, once you become the recognized body of NCVT, you have access to all that resource. You can just go pick up that course, put it in your thing, train your people. If you want Microsoft certification, then Microsoft doesn't assess that course. They have a third-party assessment arrangement throughout the world. That is assessed by Pearson VUE. Now, I have made Pearson VUE the recognized assessment agency of NCVT. So Pearson will view and assess, and whatever little amount they may charge, they will charge, and the student will get a certificate. Course is free, content is free, except their own page, student page. If you don't want a certificate, you can just keep on learning the courses. That's it. तो ये प्रोविजन कर दिया है, ये हो गया ऑलरेडी। अभी इसमें यूजीसी के साथ आज कल यूजीसी परसों मीटिंग हुई उनकी 16 को, कमीशन की मीटिंग थी। एंड टिल देन वी हैड अबाउट 141 कोर्सेज रेडी। दे हैव अप्रूव्ड दोस कोर्सेज for inclusion in the university curriculum of the 1100 universities. आप उठाइए, इंक्लूड कर लीजिए, उसको ऑफर कीजिए। Whatever credits you give would be added to the overall credits earned by the students. They'll be part of 120 credits requirement of degree. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। तो ये भी हो गया है। एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि गाइडलाइंस ऑन डिजिटल कंटेंट क्रिएशन एंड क्वालिटी फ्रेमवर्क। अभी हम OER की बात कर रहे हैं, तो OER की बात इसके बगैर तो हो नहीं सकती। कंटेंट कैसे क्रिएट करना है? नो, वी हैव ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग गाइडलाइंस व्हिच आर ऑलरेडी इन द पब्लिक डोमेन। आई विल स्टिल शेयर अ कॉपी विद यू ऑल। तो ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग गाइडलाइन के साथ साथ उसमें सारा कुछ दिया हुआ है कि आप किस किस्म के डिजिटल कंटेंट, किस किस्म के डिजिटल टूल्स इस्तेमाल करने हैं। आपने सिमुलेटर इस्तेमाल किया, अब वेल्डिंग कराते हैं बच्चे को। वेल्डिंग में इट रिक्वायर्स स्टेडीनेस ऑफ हैंड। and requires huge amount of material, जिसको जोड़ना है और साथ में जो रॉड है, बिजली लगती है, टिक में वेल्डिंग मशीन लगती है, so it's a huge expenditure. Yes. And now there are simulators available. A child can just wear a 3D glass. उसके पास AR VR इक्विपमेंट उसने पहना और वो वेल्डिंग की प्रैक्टिस कर रहा है, उसके हाथ की स्टेटनेस उससे आ जाती है. उसको कहा भी 50% आप इसमें प्रैक्टिस कर लो, 50% एक्चुअल रॉड पे प्रैक्टिस करो. सेम थिंग दे आर अलाउइंग फॉर द पायलट्स. जो जहाज आपको लेके जाता है उसका पायलट भी 50% सिमुलेटर पे ट्रेनिंग करता है. तो अगर उसके हाथ में अपनी जान आप दे सकते हो, जिंदगी आप उसको ट्रस्ट कर सकते हो, तो सिमुलेटर हम क्यों नहीं यहां यूज कर सकते हैं. So similarly, there are digital twins, there are metaverses, there are AR VR technologies, and how and where these technologies are to be used is given in the guideline, blended learning guidelines. And now this I am creating guidelines on digital content creation and quality framework. These I'll put for public consultation by next week. So all of you are welcome to participate. Give me suggestions on this. एक बार इसको फॉलो करके बनाया, ये इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड से ऊपर है. इसमें इंटरनेशनल बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस डाली हुई है सारी, और ये कर्मयोगी भारत के लिए बनाई थी. आई एम ऑन द बोर्ड ऑफ कर्मयोगी भारत एज वेल. तो वहां हमने बनाई थी, वहां से बोरो करके मैंने इसको और इनरिच कर दिया. Similarly, for online learning, now you have another act which is coming. So Data Protection and Privacy Act, उसके लिए गाइडलाइन बना दी मैंने. So those are also available in the for public consultation. They are right now in the public domain. So all of you can just have a look at it. Once I'm notified, if you become the NCVT's recognized awarding body, so automatically these guidelines would be applicable to you also. You can simply adopt them. कोई इशू नहीं. So recognition of prior learning के ऊपर guidelines are available. Detailed guidelines are there. I'm not going to go into details. Similarly, your soft skills, contemporary, new age, and future skills, all kinds of soft skills which are required today. Transdisciplinarity, novel adaptive thinking, design thinking, computational thinking, new media literacy, cognitive load management, virtual collaboration, cross-cultural competency, social intelligence, test making. And then the 50 sub-modules which I talked about under the 9 main modules, you can very clearly see the kind of, you have communication skills, then interpersonal, you have emotional intelligence, behavioral skills, stress management, inclusivity, diversity, leadership, conflict resolution, negotiation, persuasion, collaboration, teamwork, analytical and critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, strategic thinking, design thinking, information collection, analysis and synthesis, creativity, innovation, then your English and foreign language skills, then constitutional values, your cultural literacy and civic literacy, green skills, and then occupational safety, planning, those are workplace related skills, professional development, customer services and sales orientation. Then foundational literacies including numeracy literacy, financial literacy, business literacy, legal literacy, digital literacy, media literacy. Basic सबका कुछ बताना पड़ेगा. Wellness, health, hygiene, disaster management. And then your digital fluency, if you want to go one step higher in digital. And finally, the self-employment. उसमें आप business planning, business ethics, financial management, human resource management. So all these are part and parcel of these 50 sub-modules, which would be available to everybody free of cost. Thank you. I would like to stop here. Any questions? I'd be happy to take any questions.
Yeah, of course. We have some presentation.
Thank you. Good.
So thank you very much, sir, for your elaborate and backgrounds, how to integrate this open distance learning and all that. And now before the vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks by our director, it is felicitations to our guests. These are our felicitations, sir. Kindly accept our formal felicitations.
It's good that the you said vocational program can be offered by open. Good idea. That itself is acceptance itself is great.
Thank you very much. Formal vote of thanks by.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Professor K. Sitaram Rao, Vice Chancellor Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, and today's President of the inaugural session, Dr. Shadrach, Director SEPCA, who is the co-host of this OER Fest, Professor V.S. Prasad, former Director, NAB, and former Vice Chancellor of BRAOU, and today's guest of honor, and Dr. Nirmaljeet Singh Kalsi, IAS retired Chairperson, National Council for Vocational Education and Training, New Delhi, the chief guest of today's OER Fest, my esteemed colleagues from different open universities across the country, directors, deans, and my fellow teachers and friends. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this inaugural session of OER Fest. Today marks the beginning of a journey towards embracing openness in education, and your presence here signifies your commitment to this noble cause. We are deeply honored to have you with us as we embark on this transformative endeavor. I would like to extend my deep appreciation and thanks to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Nirmaljeet Kalsi, for taking time to join us today and for sharing your expertise and inspire with your innovative ideas. Sir, we are sure your contributions will have undoubtedly broadened our horizons and sparked meaningful conversations with the open education community. Thank you, sir, for gracing the occasion and showing the direction and instill the confidence in us to go forward. I am so thankful to respected Professor V.S. Prasad, the insider who has been shaping the university for the last 4 decades. Sir, thank you for participating and sharing your valuable insights. Your words of wisdom have set the tone for what promises to be a truly engaging and inspiring fest. Thank you, sir, for your presence. My special thanks to Dr. Shadrach, Director, SEMCA. Without his initiation and support, we would not have been able to imagine this festival. Sir, in January, when you were here to deliver Professor G. Ram Reddy Memorial Lecture, we discussed this idea and you made this possible today. I personally feel it is true tribute to Professor G. Ram Reddy Garu, the founder of Open University Education in India. Your meticulous planning and attention to each detail have ensured that every aspect of this inaugural function is executed seamlessly. Thank you very much, sir, for your collaboration and support for this event. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our dynamic Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Sitaram Rao Garu, who always encourages the innovation and new initiatives at this university. Under his stewardship, we could plan and execute this event. Thank you, sir, for your constant support and encouragement. My sincere thanks to Professor A.V.N. Reddy, the Registrar of our university, who liberally extended all his support and cooperation and necessary administrative approvals to organize this historical event. I am very grateful to all the Vice Chancellors of open universities across the country for nominating the delegation to participate in this event. I want to express my deepest appreciation to all the participants and attendees who have joined us today. Your enthusiasm and passion for open education are the driving forces behind this fest. And it is your collective energy that will propel us onward this journey. A special appreciation to Ms. Joyce from SEMTA for her execution from time to time, and Ms. Sushumna and Dr. Madhuri Dubey need special thanks for their unstinted cooperation. Sir, this kind of event cannot be possible without cooperation and teamwork. My special thanks to our finance officer, Mr. Venugopal, and our public relations officer, Dr. Venugopal Reddy, and the team of our engineering branch, team of our computer branch, and all the committee members, and the team of EMRRC, and everyone who has contributed to the success of this inaugural function today on Open Education Resources Fest. Your support and dedication are deeply appreciated. So as we embark on this exciting adventure together, let us embrace the spirit of collaboration and innovation that defines open education. Together, we can create a more inclusive and accessible learning environment for all. And I look forward to the exciting session ahead. And thank you very much. And I would like to thank the other guests, our former registrar, Professor Venkataya Garu and Professor Kanta Chatrapani, former Director Academic and others, who attend this inaugural session today. Thank you, one and all, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll just break for a tea.
Break for tea for 15 minutes. And
yeah, quickly we'll come back, and then again we have an exciting session, interactive session with Dr. Price. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.